Jason Carter rushed through the busy corridors of Port Vega, a massive interstellar hub at the edge of human-colonized space. The hum of engines, flashing lights, and distant chatter of travelers made his head spin. His cargo delivery had run late, and he was already behind schedule. Sweat trickled down his brow as he scanned the arrival boards, hoping to spot the gate for his shuttle. In his mind, he kept repeating, "Just make it in time. Just make it in time." He was so focused on the screens that he didn't notice the ship in front of him, a sleek vessel with silver panels that shimmered under the port's lights. Its door slid open with a hiss, and he saw a few figures stepping inside. Without thinking, he jogged forward. "That must be my shuttle," he thought. The humans boarding looked different from him. Taller and more slender. But he ignored it. He was desperate. Jason slid inside the ship and immediately froze. The cabin was not what he expected. It was large and circular, with walls that seemed to pulse with a soft, blue light. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the edges, and the air smelled faintly sweet. Then he saw them. They were alien. Tall, elegant figures with smooth, iridescent skin, glowing eyes, and hair that shimmered like liquid metal. Every one of them had a presence that made Jason feel both tiny and exposed. Their eyes, bright and intelligent, turned toward him. He swallowed hard. Who are you?" he stammered, trying to sound confident. The tallest among them stepped forward. She had silver skin and violet eyes that glimmered like stars. Her voice was melodic, yet firm. "You are not scheduled for this vessel," she said. Jason laughed nervously. "Right, yes. That's me. I mean, I think I got on the wrong ship. I'm sorry. Really." A faint smile curved the alien captain's lips. "You are human." Jason froze. "Yes, that's right. I'm human. Jason Carter. Delivery. Cargo. Wrong gate. Please don't. I just need to get off at the next port." The captain, Lyra, tilted her head slightly, observing him. She exchanged glances with the rest of the crew. Jason noticed that none of them seemed hostile. They were curious. They were studying him as if he were some rare specimen. And perhaps, he thought with a pang of self-doubt, he was. "You speak our language well," Lyra said finally. "That is unusual for your kind." Jason blinked. I studied a little. I mean, you never know when you might end up in outer space, right?" He laughed nervously again. The aliens remained silent, watching. Lyra gestured to a chair. "Sit. We will speak. You will not leave immediately." Jason's stomach sank. "Wait. What? You're not going to kick me out?" "We will not," she replied calmly. "You are interesting." Interesting? Jason thought. He did as he was told and sank into the chair, glancing around. The other aliens continued their work. But occasionally, one would glance at him, their expressions curious, but neutral. Why not let me go?" Jason asked. "I promise I'm not dangerous. I'm just lost." Lyra's violet eyes seemed to pierce through him. "Because humans are unusual. You are brave, curious, adaptable. Your kind survives in ways we do not fully understand. We do not dismiss such qualities lightly." Jason swallowed. I see. So, I'm a science experiment?" he asked, trying to joke, though his voice trembled slightly. Lyra's lips curved in what could almost be considered amusement. "Not an experiment. A guest. Perhaps. More." Jason's mind raced. More? What does that mean? The next few hours were a whirlwind. Jason learned that the ship was called Lumina, a scientific exploration vessel heading toward uncharted regions of space. Its mission was to study anomalies, map unknown systems, and understand alien life forms. He also learned that every member of the crew was female, not human, not even remotely like humans. And somehow, for reasons Jason couldn't yet understand, they were letting him stay. As the ship departed the port, Jason tried to peek out of the observation window. The lights of Port Vega shrank into the distance, and for the first time, a mix of fear and awe filled him. He was in the middle of the unknown. The vastness of space stretched endlessly before him, and he was not alone but surrounded by beings he could barely understand. The crew introduced themselves one by one. There was Saris, the navigator, whose eyes glowed like liquid gold. Vela, the engineer, who had skin that shimmered with faint green patterns. And Talia, the communications specialist, whose hair flowed like silver streams. Each of them regarded Jason with a mixture of curiosity and subtle caution. At first, it was hard. Jason struggled with their technology, which was far more advanced than anything he had ever seen. Buttons, levers, holographic panels, they all responded to thought and touch in ways humans had only begun to dream about. He made several mistakes, accidentally setting one of the engines to diagnostic mode, which caused a loud alarm to blare across the ship. The aliens did not yell. They observed. And then, surprisingly, they helped him. Vela showed him how the panels responded to subtle gestures. Saris explained the ship's navigation logic, and Talia, with a mischievous smile, seemed to enjoy his bewilderment. Explaining protocols with a patience Jason didn't think was possible. By the end of the day, Jason realized something remarkable. They weren't just curious, they were teaching him. Over dinner, which consisted of nutrient gels that changed flavor as you chewed, Jason tried to ask questions about their lives, their species, and why they had not ejected him from the ship. Lyra answered slowly. Your kind, humans, show courage we rarely see. You think in ways we do not. Adapt in ways we cannot predict. That is why we do not dismiss you. That is why you may stay. Jason laughed nervously. Stay? Like, forever? Lyra shook her head. Not forever. But for now, you belong here. At least while you learn. Jason couldn't believe it. He had boarded a ship by mistake, and now he was trapped, or perhaps welcomed into an alien crew. His mind raced with possibilities. I could be the first human to explore uncharted space with them. Or I could get in serious trouble. Big trouble. And as the ship entered deep space, Jason began to see the crew in action. They moved with synchronized precision, each action purposeful and efficient. But he also noticed their moments of lightness, a shared joke, a subtle smile exchanged between two crew members, a soft laugh that seemed almost musical. Despite their alien nature, they had a camaraderie he could understand. Jason felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. He was not in control of this journey. He had never been in control. But maybe, just maybe, he could find his place. That night, lying in a small cabin that had been assigned to him, Jason stared at the stars through a transparent ceiling panel. The vastness of the universe pressed down on him. But for the first time in years, he felt alive. He thought about Earth, his home, and how far away it now seemed. He thought about the humans he had left behind, the life he had paused, and the uncertain future stretching before him. And yet, despite the fear, he felt a spark of hope. Maybe this is what I was meant for, he thought. Maybe humans do belong out here. Maybe I can make a difference. As he drifted to sleep, Jason did not realize that the crew had gathered quietly outside his cabin. They observed him, not with suspicion, but with interest. They had never encountered a human before, and this one was different. Brave. Curious. adaptable, perhaps essential. Lyra's violet eyes lingered on the sleeping figure. He is promising, she whispered. He may change everything we thought we knew about humans. And with that thought, the crew dispersed, leaving Jason to dream among the stars, unaware of the adventure that was only just beginning. The Lumina continued its journey into the unknown, and Jason Carter, the accidental human stowaway, would soon learn that the universe was far bigger and far more alive than he had ever imagined. The next morning, Jason awoke to the soft hum of the Lumina's engines. The ship moved smoothly through the void of space, leaving behind the last lights of the human-colonized sectors. Jason rubbed his eyes, trying to shake the nervousness and sleepiness. Yesterday had been overwhelming. He had stepped into a completely alien world literally, and somehow survived. Somehow, he had even earned the crew's cautious acceptance. He stepped out of his cabin into the main corridor. The soft light of the ship seemed alive, pulsing in rhythm with the ship's movement. The alien crew moved with grace, each step silent, yet precise. Jason tried to follow without making noise, feeling like a clumsy human in a ballet of extraterrestrial perfection. "Good morning," said Lyra, her violet eyes gleaming. She floated toward him in a way that suggested both authority and ease. Jason blinked. Morning, Captain. I, slept well." Lyra tilted her head, studying him. "You learn quickly. That is good. Today, you will learn more. You will learn our systems, our ways, and perhaps, yourself." Jason nodded, unsure what he had just agreed to. "Right. Systems and ways. Got it." Learning the ship, Jason spent the morning learning the Lumina's systems. The consoles were alien in every way, panels that responded to thought, holographic displays that floated in midair, and controls that required gestures rather than touch. Jason struggled at first. A single wrong gesture triggered an alert, and a soft alarm filled the room. Vela, the engineer with green-patterned iridescent skin, floated beside him. "Calm yourself, human," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "Your hands are tense. Relax. Control comes from understanding, not force." Jason exhaled. "Right. Relax. Understanding. Got it." Vela smiled faintly and guided his hands through the gestures again. Slowly, Jason began to see the patterns. He realized that the ship's systems were not just machines, they were alive in a way, responding to thought and intention. He made mistakes, of course, but the crew corrected him with patience. By midday, Jason had learned to operate minor systems, lighting adjustments, environmental controls, even a basic propulsion function under supervision. It was nothing compared to the Lumina's full capabilities. But it was progress. And for the first time, Jason felt like he belonged. Bonding with the crew. During their first break, the crew gathered in a communal space. The room was circular, filled with soft light, and smelled faintly of herbs and minerals. Jason took a seat cautiously, unsure where to put himself. Talia, the communications specialist with flowing silver hair, approached him. "Do you not eat with your companions?" she asked, tilting her head curiously. Jason laughed nervously. I'm fine. I eat differently. Humans are simple like that." Talia's lips curved in amusement. "You are simple, but not uninteresting. Tell us of your kind." Jason found himself talking about Earth, humanity, the way humans explored, survived, and adapted. He told stories of cities, technology, art, and culture. The crew listened silently, absorbing every word. Jason noticed that their eyes glimmered with interest, not judgment. Saris, the navigator with liquid gold eyes, asked, "Humans face fear often, yet they act despite it. Why?" Jason thought for a moment. "Because we can't stop ourselves. We want to survive, Yes, but also, we want to know. Curiosity drives us. Even when it's dangerous, we try. Sometimes, it's reckless, but it works more often than not. Lyra nodded. Curiosity, bravery, adaptability. These are traits worth preserving. Perhaps that is why we allow you to remain among us. Jason felt a strange warmth. For the first time, he felt that humans his kind were respected by beings far beyond his understanding. A sudden threat. As the Lumina approached a dense asteroid field, alarms blared across the ship. Jason's heart jumped into his throat. The crew moved with efficiency, their bodies flowing from console to console with graceful precision. Lyra's voice cut through the chaos. Asteroid cluster incoming. Shields at 75%. Navigation. Ready the path. All hands. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Jason's eyes widened as he watched. The ship needed someone to make quick adjustments to the auxiliary engines. The system required rapid improvisation. A perfect moment for human ingenuity. He hesitated, but the crew's expectant gazes gave him courage. "Let me try something," Jason said. Lyra's eyes met his. "Do what you must, human. We will observe." Jason rushed to a console he had only begun to understand. He took a deep breath and remembered the engineering basics humans used on old ships back on Earth. Improvising, he rerouted power, adjusted thrusters manually, and calculated angles using mental math. His pulse pounded. But slowly, the ship responded. The Lumina twisted and turned through the asteroid field. Guided partly by alien technology, partly by human intuition. A massive rock loomed ahead too close for the ship's automatic systems to react in time. Jason shouted, "Now! Divert lateral thrusters 60 degrees." The ship groaned as it obeyed. The asteroid passed mere meters away, leaving the crew unharmed. A tense silence filled the room. Then, a cheer. A hum of approval. Lyra looked at him with an expression Jason could barely read. "You saved us," she said simply. "Human ingenuity. Remarkable." Jason blinked. Vela floated toward him, her glowing eyes bright. "No. You acted under pressure. You adapted. You survived. That is not just thought, it is instinct. And instinct is rare. Among us, it is respected. Among you, it may be common. But still, extraordinary." Jason felt a surge of pride and disbelief. He had never imagined that being human being himself could matter so much in the vast, alien universe. Cultural challenges. Even as he gained trust, Jason realized the alien culture was unlike anything he had known. Subtle rules governed behavior, gestures, positioning, even eye contact. A simple mistake could cause offense. That afternoon, Jason accidentally stood in what the crew considered the wrong position during a planning session. Lyra's eyes flickered with a hint of displeasure. The other crew members paused their work and looked at him. Jason froze, realizing he had done something culturally wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't know," he said quickly. Lyra's expression softened. "You are human. Errors are expected. But observe. Learn. Respect comes from effort, not perfection." Jason nodded eagerly. He spent the next hour watching the crew, noting every subtle gesture, every unspoken rule. Slowly, he began to adapt. He realized that being human didn't mean he had to mimic them perfectly. It meant understanding, respecting, and using his own strengths in harmony with theirs. A growing connection. Days passed, and Jason began to feel less like an intruder and more like a member of the crew. He shared jokes, stories, and even minor victories in navigating systems. The crew, in turn, taught him alien games, scientific protocols, and their perspectives on the universe. One evening, Jason watched as Lyra and Saris reviewed star charts. He spoke up cautiously. You know, there might be a simpler path through the nebula, if you adjust the angles here. Saris raised an eyebrow, clearly skeptical. Lyra looked at him, silent. Jason traced the lines on the holographic display. See? If we shift the approach slightly, we avoid most of the unstable fields. It's more efficient. After a moment of tension, Lyra nodded. You may be correct. We will follow your suggestion. The ship adjusted course smoothly. Jason felt a thrill of accomplishment. The crew's respect for him had grown, not because he was human, but because he was competent, curious, and brave when it mattered. That night, lying in his cabin, Jason reflected on the strange turn his life had taken. He had boarded the wrong ship by mistake. He had expected chaos, danger, or at best, a brief detention. Instead, he had found a crew that trusted him, a role where his human traits mattered, and perhaps, a place where he could belong. Foreshadowing the future. As the Lumina moved deeper into uncharted space, Jason realized the crew had not yet revealed the full scope of their mission. There were hints of danger, of ancient alien civilizations, and of discoveries that could change the way the galaxy viewed humanity. Lyra observed him from a distance, her violet eyes thoughtful. He is more capable than we anticipated, she said softly to Vela. Perhaps he is essential for what is to come. Vela nodded. Humans, unpredictable, yet. Jason, oblivious to the quiet conversation, stared at the stars through the observation window. He felt a mixture of awe, excitement, and a little fear. Space was vast, strange, and dangerous. But for the first time in his life, Jason felt ready. He had survived the first trials. He had learned. He had proven that humans, though small and fragile compared to the alien crew, had something valuable. Courage, adaptability, and ingenuity. And soon, he would need all of it. Jason Carter woke to a soft vibration running through the Lumina. The ship's gentle hum had changed it, now carried an urgency, a tension he had not felt before. He stretched and rubbed his eyes, glancing out of the observation panel. Ahead, the void of space shimmered with strange energy, a nebula unlike any he had seen. Report. Lyra's voice cut through the intercom, calm but sharp. Jason moved quickly to the main deck. The crew was already in motion, coordinating with precision. He noticed the tension in their normally graceful movements. Something was wrong. A hostile fleet detected, Sarah said, her golden eyes scanning the sensors. Jason's heart raced. He had never been in combat, and yet his mind snapped into focus. He could not rely solely on alien technology. He had to use what he knew, what humans had always relied on. Intuition, improvisation, and adaptability. Lyra approached him, her violet eyes steady. Jason, your knowledge of unpredictability may be needed. Are you prepared? Jason swallowed and nodded. I'll do my best. The battle begins. The Lumina shifted course as the fleet drew closer. Jason ran to a control panel he had been studying, a console that allowed manual adjustments to shield output and auxiliary engines. The fleet's weapons were fast, their movements precise, and the ship's automatic defenses could only do so much. Jason's mind raced. He remembered his engineering training back on Earth, the old techniques humans used when computers failed. Manual calculation, pattern recognition, and improvisation. Slowly, he started rerouting power, adjusting shields, and manipulating thrusters in ways the crew had not expected. Jason, what are you doing? Vela asked, hovering beside him. Trust me, he said, fingers flying across the controls. I think I can create a blind spot in their targeting pattern. Give me a moment. The alien crew watched silently as Jason's hands moved with purpose. He diverted the ship's energy in subtle pulses, creating a fluctuating shield frequency. The attacking fleet fired, but their weapons hit empty space, missing the Lumina by meters. Jason's pulse pounded with exhilaration and fear. Lyra's eyes widened. He is adapting faster than anticipated. Jason adjusted again. If we follow this path, we can break through their formation. We just need precise timing. Teamwork across species. The crew quickly adapted to Jason's improvisation. Ceres recalculated the ship's navigation, Vela reinforced the structural integrity of the hull, and Talia sent misleading signals to confuse the enemy fleet. Every alien on board worked in harmony with Jason's human intuition. Jason's heart pounded as he coordinated the ship's movements. He realized something profound. Humans may not have the alien elegance or speed, but they had creativity and adaptability. The ability to improvise in ways no system could predict. A massive asteroid suddenly entered the battlefield, and the alien fleet attempted to use it as cover. Jason seized the moment. "We can use the asteroid too, slingshot around it." "Timing is everything." Lyra glanced at him. "Do it, human. We trust you." With careful coordination, Jason guided the Lumina around the asteroid. The enemy fleet was caught off guard, colliding with debris and scattering into the void. Cheers erupted across the ship. Jason felt a rush of relief and pride. The battle was over for now. Recognition and respect. After the crisis, the crew gathered in the main chamber. Lyra approached Jason, her violet eyes reflecting both curiosity and admiration. "You have proven your worth," she said simply. "Not only bravery, but insight, adaptability. Humans are more than we understood." Jason blinked. I just did what I thought was right." Lyra smiled faintly. "That is enough. Your kind's way of thinking is unpredictable, yet effective. We have learned much from you. Perhaps much more than we expected." Vela floated closer, her green-patterned skin shimmering softly. "We welcome you fully, Jason. You are not just a guest. You are part of this crew. Essential." Jason felt a warmth he had never experienced. He had boarded the ship by mistake, expecting danger. Maybe humiliation. Instead, he had found trust, respect, and a place where his human traits mattered more than he had ever realized. A difficult choice. The celebrations were quiet, for the Lumina was still deep in unknown space. Jason knew that eventually he would face a choice: return to Earth and human civilization, or continue with this alien crew into the far reaches of the galaxy. He wandered to the observation deck, staring at the endless stars. He thought of Earth, family, friends, and the life he had left behind. And yet, he thought of the crew, their trust, and the adventure that had only just begun. Lyra appeared beside him, silently. "You are thinking of your home," she said. Jason nodded. "Yes, I have a life back there. But this place, this crew, it feels right." Lyra's violet eyes softened. "We do not wish to bind you, human. But we also recognize what you bring: perspective, courage, insight. If you choose to remain, it is because you wish it, not because we force you." Jason took a deep breath. I want to stay. I want to explore, learn, and help. I never thought I'd find a place where humans matter in the galaxy, but with you, I see we do." Lyra's lips curved in a faint smile. "Then it is decided. You are ours not by mistake, but by choice. A new beginning." The next weeks passed in a blur of training, exploration, and discovery. Jason continued to learn alien technology, contributed his human perspective, and helped the crew navigate regions of space no one had ever charted. He discovered alien ruins on distant planets, mysterious energy fields, and life forms that defied human imagination. Each time, he relied on human curiosity and ingenuity to find solutions. And each time, the crew relied on him. Despite the vast differences, a bond formed that transcended species. The alien crew valued him, not because he was human, but because he had courage, adaptability, and a mind willing to face the unknown. And Jason valued them not just as companions, but as teachers, friends, and family. Humanity's place in the universe. One night, as Jason floated in zero gravity near the observation deck, he marveled at the nebula stretching across the void. The colors shifted like liquid fire, and distant stars blinked in patterns he had never imagined. Lyra appeared quietly beside him. "You understand now," she said. "Humans. You are not the strongest, the fastest, or the most elegant. But you are necessary. Brave, curious, resilient, in ways even we cannot predict." Jason smiled. "I think I understand. We, humans, we survive because we adapt, because we learn, because we try even when it's impossible." Lyra nodded. "And that is why you belong here. Among us. Among the stars. Perhaps, more than any of us could have hoped." Jason stared at the nebula, feeling a sense of belonging he had never known. He thought of Earth, but not with longing. He thought of the crew, the adventures, and the challenges ahead. Humanity had a place in the universe, a role that mattered. And he, Jason Carter, had found his part. The adventure continues. The Lumina sailed onward, deeper into uncharted space. Jason worked, learned, and explored, always pushing boundaries. Every day brought new challenges, new wonders, and new reasons to rely on his uniquely human traits. For the first time, Jason realized something profound. Being human was not a limitation. It was a strength. His curiosity, ingenuity, and adaptability made him a valuable member of the crew and an essential part of the galaxy's future. And as the stars stretched endlessly ahead, Jason Carter smiled. He had boarded the wrong ship by accident, but that mistake had led him to a life of adventure, discovery, and a family that spanned species and worlds. The Lumina was no longer just an alien ship, it was home. And for Jason, the universe had just begun to unfold in ways he had never imagined.